Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? I am doing very well, thank you for asking. Although, I'm not very happy with RuPaul's Drag Race. And I'm not going to spoil it for anybody because I spoiled enough on Twitter. And I'm just mad tonight about it. I don't really get that heated about any reality TV, but oh my god, I'm like a RuPaul's Drag Race fan. And if you watch it, you'll know why I'm upset. So anyway, but other than that, it's been a good day today. It is freezing outside. It's 50 degrees, which doesn't sound like it's really that cold, but it feels cold. It's windy outside. I was standing outside and I was like, it feels almost kind of like it could snow. So I don't think it's going to, but my face is looking a little bit thinner, I think. I don't know. Whenever I render the video to put it back up, I don't notice that I feel like it's shows me like this, and I'm like, yeah, it doesn't look like you lost any weight at all, but I feel like I'm kind of looking a little bit thinner on my face, so I don't know what that was, but anyway, that was my pose. So today was non-eventful. What did I do? I got up, I went and I got an oil change, which I hate going to get an oil change, even though it only takes 10 or 15 minutes. I literally I just dread going to do it. I don't know why. But, so I went and I got my coffee, I went and got an oil change, talked on the phone some more, ran errands, talked on the phone some more, came home, cleaned the kitchen. What else did I do? Took the dogs out, I feel like about 1,000 times today. Tucker's and Boo, okay, so this is what they're doing now. So, the life of the dogs, in case you want to know. Tucker goes outside, and he sticks real close to the backyard of the house, really close to the patio. But Pee-Pee walks all the way down now, and now we have this kind of this yard that goes way out, and it's kind of common area for the neighborhood. He goes way out there, so I'm standing there, and then I have to they start trotting, so I have to run past way out there, and yes, trotting, we call it, because one of our nicknames for Pee-Pee is Little Horse. So I have to run down there because they'll see somebody walking and then they start barking, because our neighborhood has a lot of walkers. And so then Boo follows suit and just follows him and starts barking. So then I have to run all the way down there. And it's been raining today, so of course, it's like swampland back there. So then they get them back over to our area, and then they go all the way down the yard, the perimeter of the woods, of which now they have found this little area that goes through. I couldn't get through it, but they can get through it to the other side. And so they're trying to be adventurers of the world. And Pee-Pee starts going in there, and then Boo Radley follows them, and then I have to go down. It's just a mess. So, but I like to give them as much time as possible. So I've just been kind of leaving the door open, walking in and out, kind of making sure that they're back there, and then I stand outside for a little bit. So I try to give them 20 minutes or so to kind of just walk around. They enjoy it so much, It's really nice that we have that yard back there for that. So, anyway, took them out about 5,000 times. I had the movie Signs on in the background while I was working today. I love that movie. I just go into the what do you call it? The remote. I'll go scary movies, and then I look at this free scary movies, and then I pull up whatever. And Signs was the first one that came up that I wanted to see. I guess I Spit on Your Grave and I Spit on Your Grave 2. Are they remakes? I can't believe I've never seen them, because I know I've seen the originals way back in the day, I think, but they were up there. So anyway, I watched Signs and filmed, well, that was after I filmed my videos though, while I was putting up the review video, which is of candles from the Poorhouse Company, which is where I have my candles. I will link it below if you want to go check it out. They have all kinds of amazing candles over there. I love their candles so much. And I have 2 candles. Rich Lux, I think, has 2 candles over there. And she's going to be working with some other YouTubers as well, doing collaboration candles. And I'm so excited because I have another candle coming out. I have a candle coming out this summer. And if you buy it, I will tell you that if you buy it from the link below, it is an affiliate link, so I do get a percentage of that. And So you don't have to buy it from that link. You can just go to the Poorhouse Company or Google in the Poorhouse Candle Company. It pulls up. I think she has an Etsy shop too, but my candles are on her website because she's like slowly moving it over and getting rid of her Etsy shop, I believe. But she had just sent me a box of candles, and I've been like using the wax melts around the house, and they're fantastic. If you want like a really good evening scent, well, besides my candles, because I love my candles, but she has one called Goodbye Moon, I think, or Goodnight Moon, like the book, the children's book, and she just sent that to me and said, so it must be a new one, and I really, really like that a lot. We were burning them tonight. I had Caribbean teakwood, because it's kind of like a very like woodsy smell, and Alex likes like spa woodsy smells in our house. So that's a little hint at what my next candle is going to be. It's going to be something kind of spa-ish. I'll explain how I came up with the candle. So she like comes up with the scent. She does everything. So she's awesome. But so yeah, go check out her website. She's got all kinds of cool candles and candle waxes and stuff over there. I think she took my candle waxes off, and she's just going to have my candles on there. So, but anyway. So I did a review of all of my candles from her, which I have tons. I haven't even used some of them. And then I wanted to do a booktube video, but it was getting really, really late. And then let's see what else. Yeah, I think that's about it. And then did all of my fuelings today. I was a little hungry today, I will say that. I don't know why. Well, I started really early, and so I was done early today, too. So, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but Alex came home, and we had to catch up on RuPaul's Drag Race. So, we watched, he didn't get home until like 8:30. So, we watched last week, and we watched this week. And about halfway through, well, like, when we were watching it, I had my last fueling, and I had those cruncher things that I like, because I thought it'd be like a snack, you know, to like watch the show with. And so Alex went in the kitchen like on a break, and I was taking the dogs out, and he like was putting tinfoil. I think I was taking the dogs out, but anyway, I came back in the kitchen, and he was like putting tinfoil on like a cookie sheet, and I was like, what are you doing? And I thought he was gonna make pizza rolls, and he was like, I'm making chicken fingers. And I was like, you're making chicken fingers? And he was like, yeah. Not that I could have them anyway, because I'm a vegetarian, but it's besides the point. And I go, okay. And he pulled them out, and they were like these huge chicken fingers, and they looked so good. And he had like a bowl of marinara with it. And I go, I want chicken fingers so bad. And he goes, babe, I don't have to eat if you don't want me to. Like, I don't have to eat in front of you. I was like, no, go ahead. So he had these delicious looking chicken fingers while I was sitting there having my crunchers. A little bag about that big. So yeah, I struggled a little bit, but it's okay. Sunday, we are going out to brunch. Well, we're not going out to brunch. We're going out to dinner with his mom. I think he's going to take her to do something earlier in the day. And so, like, he's going to do something with her, and he said I could come. And then we're going to all meet up for dinner in the evening, because I think Carlos works during the day. And I said, well, I might, like, just let you go do something with your mom early. And I said, and then, you know, I can, like, take care of the dogs and maybe make some videos if I want to, and then we can all go to dinner together. And he was like, yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. So, because like I said, you know, like, I like to let them have some time alone, too, you know? And then we don't really have much plans for this weekend. I have a little special surprise, but you guys will find out about that this weekend, because I'm going to vlog about it. But other than that, Sunday, I'm excited about being with the family. And I probably, depending on where we go, I don't know that I'll necessarily do a cheat thing with it, but like, I'll still do my fuel lanes. And I'll watch what I eat, but yeah. I don't think it's too difficult. Like, it hasn't been too difficult going out to eat. You know, like the other day when I went to that thing, the Rev thing, that was hard because there was so much good food. But even then, like, I couldn't eat a lot of it because a lot of it was meat, so I didn't really struggle that hard with it. Let's just take a look at the time. We're right at 10 minutes. This is not going to be a super long vlog tonight, and partly because I'm tired, and partly because you guys, my allergies are killing me this year. I don't know what it is. Like, I got that allergy medicine, and it's helping a little bit maybe, but not really a whole lot, because it's just not heavy duty. It's like low end allergy medicine, because I just can't have anything that's like, you know, has anything in it. So it helps a little bit with my nose running. But the thing is like today I forgot to take it until like 5 o'clock, so my nose was running all day long, and then I was like, oh, I need to take my allergy medicine. So my throat is itchy and very sore, and I have this like dry cough that, I guess from allergies. My nose is running, my eyes are itchy. Alex's allergies are horrible too, so there's that. So I just don't know that I can talk for a long time, because like my throat kind of hurts. So yeah, it'll be a good weekend, just kind of hanging out and stuff like that. I want to finish the Devouring Grey on Audible this weekend, and then I want to start the book club book so I can have it done early. Well, it's not even early, we're almost halfway through the month, but I want to get that done. You know what, I think we're going to have to change the day that we do the live stream for the book club, because that's probably going to be race day. And if it's race day, then I'm not going to want to do it that day, even though I don't do anything with the race. But I'll, you know, like, if for people that are in I don't know if there's anybody here from Indianapolis. Well, there's a couple people that are from Indianapolis that are in the book club. Anyway, I mean, that's Memorial Day weekend, so we'll just pick another weekend to do it. I need to talk to Mel about that. Mel and I have been trying to connect and talk anyway, and have a little bit of a phone date, and we haven't been able to do that. So anyway, the time change kind of sucks, because like when we can talk to each other, like not the time change, but the time difference between where we're at. So anyway, yeah, it's a good day today. Not a whole lot. Talked to my sponsor, and I can't think of anything else. It's so weird. Like, I go outside now, and our front patio is completely clean, you know, and Mrs. Birdie's gone, and the nest is gone, and it's funny because there's like, you know, birds in our area, and I look up at them and I'm like, are you from our bird family? I'm like thinking, like, are they a part of our bird family? It's just so strange to me that, like, somebody commented on this in their vlog. They're like, it's so funny that you think about all this stuff, like how they feed their babies, but I do, like, you know. I'm really, like, not that deep, you guys. I really am not. Like, I kind of, like, and I have this deep imagination when it comes to things like that, you know? And just the idea that they're one day there, and then the next day they just, like, fly. Like, I mean, that's crazy to me, you know? Like, I mean, it's the magic of nature, you know? I think it's just unbelievable. And, but I'm kind of past the point of being sad. But it's funny because, like, when we walk outside, like, Alex is like, he said this like 3 times now. He's like, don't you just love our carriage light? I love our carriage light. It's so clean. It's so clean. And I'm like, you're just rubbing it in that Mrs. Birdie is gone, okay? And you know that I'm upset about it. But I'm not really as upset about it as I was. But I'm still kind of like, God, I miss her. Because I would like, when I took the dogs out, I would say stuff, I would talk to them, and like, when I would, you know, walk up at night, like when I was coming home from vlogging or whatever, like I would look up and they would all be asleep, or she would be on her nest. You know, it's crazy to think that, like, she built this nest, and that was when we went on vacation. We came back and the nest was there, and then she laid her eggs. I think it's funny, I documented the entire thing. And then she laid her eggs And then her eggs hatch into these babies, whose names we will never forget, is Lois, Louie, Linda, and Steve. And don't forget Steve, Boo Radley's friend, of which he's very upset about still to this day. Boo Radley almost can't even talk about it. He's so upset. But anyway, it's just crazy to me, the whole, like, I don't know. I think it's crazy that I'm 46, almost 47 years old. Do you forget your age the older you get? Like, this year, like, every time I say my age, I'm like, am I 47 or am I 46? I'm going to be 47. Like, you kind of start forgetting your age a little bit. It's weird. You forget a lot of things. You forget a lot of things as you get older, trust me. But it's funny because, like, in 46 years of my life, I've never, like, I've never had a pet that had, you know, had babies. I've never watched that whole process. So I don't know. It was just very kind of innocent and sweet to me, and if it was up to me, you know, I would just leave that nest up and let her come back and lay some more eggs if she wanted to, and Steve could come and visit Boo Radley. And somebody told me, they said, if you don't take that nest down, there's a possibility she will come back and lay more eggs. I was like, are you serious? And they're like, yeah. So you better take it down if you don't want her to come back. And I was like, yeah, I better take it down before my husband and I are getting into it and we're in divorce court, because he's over the nest. Like, literally every day he would say, are they gone yet? Like, are they gone yet? Like, are they going to be gone soon? Like, I'm like, I do not know the life of birds, okay? Like, I don't know how long they're going to be there. He thought it was cute too, but, like, the cuteness wore off real quick for him. This restaurant right here I love. This is where we went for, what did we go there for? Was it my sister-in-law's birthday? I can't remember. This Mexican restaurant in there was really cute. Remember, I was vlogging and I was sitting in the car and they weren't there yet. I can't remember what that was for. That is like a serious Chipotle. That is like upper level Chipotle. In RuPaul's Drag Race tonight, they had, if you watch it, one of the queen's names is Brooklyn Heights. I've loved her forever. She won Miss Continental a couple years ago. But anyway, her mom gave they have, like, people, like, send in videotapes. And so during this part of the show called Untucked, that's the end. It's really not part of it. It's kind of like an after show kind of thing, but it used to be called something else, I think. They had it on YouTube for a while. You had to watch it, and then it's just, anyway. So they had, her mom, like, did a video, and the things she said, just, it reminded me of my mom a lot. And I got so emotional sitting there watching it. I was like, I never really think much about, like, the death date, you know? But, like, my mom's death date, okay, so it's going to be, the 10th is Friday, so the 11th is Saturday, so Mother's Day is Sunday, and my mother passed away on the 14th. So it's almost, like, right at the same exact time. It just is weird to me, you know? Like, I don't know, this is the first year that it's kind of affected me this way, like, coming up on her death date. I don't know why. I think because this is the 11th year, maybe, and it's like, it's been so long at this point, like, you know? She said something in her video, and she said something like, she said something about him being bullied when he was growing up, and that her mother's heart, and that was what got me, because my mother was so like that. She was so protective of me, you know, and wrong or right, I think there's something about that, you know, that to some degree a mother doesn't, I don't know, my mother was always, you know, she saw my faults, but loved me nonetheless. And I think the thing that, like, I mean, I know a lot of people don't have great relationships with their mother, but I did, you know? I mean, I had a super close relationship. At times it was screaming and yelling, but, I mean, what relationship isn't with a parent at some point, you know what I mean? But, I think, like, one of the things that really I understood, I guess maybe I didn't understand how much my mother really unconditionally loved me until she was gone. And that's the sad thing, you know, like, that, I don't know. I have a lot of friends of mine, and they're always kind of like, you know, like, oh, my mom, she drives me crazy, and blah, 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 and this person, and I don't want to go to this family get together, and whatever, and, you know, like, I get it. Like, I'm a realist. I understand that, you know what I mean? Like, that parents can be a lot, and family can be a lot, and stuff, too, but, like, when you start losing, like, everybody that you have, you know, like, I still have my dad and my stepmom, and Caroline, but that's it. Like, I mean, that's small, you know, and my family was small to begin with, and when you start losing, like, I mean, I have my dad's side of my family, but I almost, like, never see them, you know, and, you know, when you start losing people, like, it takes that for you to realize how much people really meant to you, you know, to some degree. Or I guess maybe coming close to losing them, you realize how much people mean, and how much, like, all of the other stuff in life, like, we get so caught up with stuff that matters, that we think matter, but it really doesn't, you know? I mean, it really, honest to God, it just doesn't. And I mean, and I'm not, like, I still struggle with the lesson, you know, because, like, there are times when I think certain things matter that just don't. And when I step back from it, and I look at whatever it is I'm going through at that moment, or something that I think I need, or something that I'm struggling with, and I look at it and I go, there's going to be a day that this just does not matter. You know what I mean? Like, on my deathbed, am I going to look back and be like, well, I had to have that car, or I had to have that trip or that bag, or, you know, like, fighting with this person. Like, I mean, I'm not going to look back and think about, those aren't going to be the things I think about on my death. I hope those aren't the things I look back on, you know? I hope that on my deathbed, looking back, if I get that opportunity, you know, very few of us actually get that opportunity to sit there and reflect on our lives, you know? And I think that would probably be a scary moment anyway, but, you know, I know my aunt said to my cousin Caroline that she was like, you know, I had a good life. Like, I've had a great life. And, I think, like, sometimes it's weird to me, you know, that my aunt and uncle are gone, because it's like I didn't talk to them on the phone every day. You know, I would talk to my aunt every, like, you know, I talked to her often, but I didn't talk to her every day. And so, like, still, it's kind of weird to me that they're gone. Like, it's almost like we're going to get together for Mother's Day. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's going to stop. Hold on a second. But it's almost kind of weird. It's like I'm going to see them, you know, or I don't know. It's bizarre. I can remember Caroline standing in her mom's garage after her mom passed away, and they, you know, the funeral home came and took her away and stuff like that. And I remember we were sitting out in the garage and we were drinking a Diet Coke. We were just kind of sitting there, like, with the garage door open, like, you know, and the neighborhood was still, and my uncle was at Caroline's house. Maybe he was there, I don't remember. He must have been there. Maybe he was downstairs, I don't know. But it was just Caroline and I think he was there. Yeah, he was there, because he was sitting in the living room because their really close family friend was there. She and I were driving over together, and I remember I looked over and I saw her. Like, Caroline had called both of us, like, as soon as it happened. And we both lived like a block from each other. And I looked over, and she didn't see me. And she's just, like, bawling. Been, like, and they were in the hospital room with my mom, too. We go out to dinner every once in a while with them. You know, it's interesting that Alex, like, really had he had no connection to my mom, you know? And yet he's the one that, like, stays in contact with all these people. Like, he'll text them and he'll say, he'll call me and be like, okay, so we're gonna go out to dinner with so-and-so. And I'll be like, oh, okay. Like, really close friends of my aunt and uncles. My aunt loved him so much. I think that's kind of hard too, you know, like, other than Caroline, like, my aunt was like the one real connection, you know, to my mom. And so, like, if Alex was ever going to have any connection to my mom, it was like through my aunt and uncle, really through my aunt. Because Caroline's perception of stories about my mom is completely different, you know, than my aunt's was. I mean, my aunt, even though my mom and my aunt fought like cats and dogs sometimes, I mean, my aunt had a pure love for my mother. So, like, a lot of the stories that she told, you know, were just really endearing stories. Whereas, like, Caroline and I joke a lot more. Like, our stories are more joking stories. And Caroline doesn't really like to tell the stories anymore. You know, I think to some degree it's kind of too painful for her. That kind of caught me off guard. I don't know why I got so emotional about that, but... You know, it's interesting, like, I can grieve about my aunt, and I can get upset about her, but, like, when I see my husband pained about my aunt being gone, and my uncle being gone, like, that is really hard for me. I don't know why, like... Because, you know, he had a different relationship with her than I had. You know, I was her little guy. I mean, my aunt took me to, she was very involved in Indianapolis, and so when I was a little kid, she would take me to all kinds of stuff, you know? I remember she was, like, president of getting, my aunt was, president of Junior League, you know, for a while, and she was president of, when we had the Pan Am games here. And so I got to go with her every day, and she'd tell me I had to wear khakis and a little sport coat. I can't even remember how old I was. You know, and I look back and I think, well, God, that was probably the summer that my mom and my dad were, like, separated, and, you know, my mom was getting her master's degree, and so my aunt probably just thought, well, Peter can come with me, and because I can remember that whole week I, you know, stayed over at their house, and there was a lot of that too when I was growing up, you know, that I look back on, like, where my dad would just come pick me up, and I wouldn't, like, as I got older, I kind of understood it about, I think it was some of my mom's mental health stuff and maybe the alcoholism, but like I would come home and my mom would just be like, your dad's picking you up, and I'd be like, oh, really? And she's like, yeah, he wants to see you for a couple days. And then, you know, like, this would be, like, during the school year, and I would be staying with my dad. This would have been before my dad had his house, so this was when he lived in an apartment. And I can remember staying over there, and, you know, like, he would drive me to school every morning, which was weird, because that wasn't, like, my schedule of how I did things, you know, like, I only stayed at my dad's one night during the week, and then he would drive me to school that day, the next day, but other than that, like, you know, so there would be, like, 4 or 5 days in a row where I don't even know how I got on this topic, but there'd be, like, 4 or 5 days in a row where I would, like, stay with my dad. Like, that happened a lot, like, not tons, but it happened quite a bit, and I look back on that and I think, like, you know, that must have been my mom's, like, maybe going through depressive states or something. Like, that's all I can assume. You know, my dad's told me in the past that I never know in this car, this is totally on a tangent, but, like, when I need gas, like, I am low, and I think I'm about the point where I need gas, but I really don't want to get out of the car in the cold and fill it up. You want to talk about laziness? That is pure laziness. When I can fill it tomorrow and it won't be as cold. But, you know, he would say things to me like as I got older, I I don't know, maybe, maybe, and my aunt too, I think, was very protective of me. We stayed at my aunt and uncle's a lot. My mom and I did. She didn't like being in the house alone. Like, she would say it was too big, and she would get very scared. And excuse me, the house that I grew up in backed up into the woods, and my mom would get really, really scared. And after the whole cat burglar thing happened, it was even worse. So if you haven't heard the story, we had a cat, they called the person the cat burglar. I don't know what we call those today, or if that's appropriate term or whatever, but that's what it was called back then. And it was very much like, what's that movie? Oh shoot, with Cary Grant and Grace Kelly. Not Charade, but I love that movie too. But anyway, where, To Catch a Thief is what it's called. Oh, if you guys seen that movie, it's such a great movie. But anyway, where he was a cat burglar. And if you haven't seen it, then I just ruined it for you. But I think you know that kind of early on in the movie. But anyway, so there was this guy, and he was hitting all these houses in our neighborhood. And so one night, the police chased him all the way down to where our house was on the cul-de-sac. And so he went up our driveway and then into the woods. And if you came down the cul-de-sac, you kind of couldn't see our driveway because it was hidden, kind of. But from trees and stuff, you couldn't see it if you came around the corner. So I'm sure he just darted through. Well, he dropped this jewelry box and all this jewelry right at the back door. And so my mom, the next morning, she saw it all, and she was putting the dog on the leash. And so then she had to testify or something about all of it. I actually thought about turning that part into a book. I had an idea for a book for a while, and I was going to call the book Cul-de-Sac. And it was going to be about this guy and kind of me, but it was going to be he lived in Los Angeles, and his mom called him and said I need you to come home. And so because her best friend dies, and there's so he comes home, and then she's sitting there, they have this night, and it's all about this stuff that happened a long time ago, and that it was actually very contrived, and that there was this whole background story to it, which there wasn't, but in my real life. But I was going to call the book Cul-de-Sac. I have 5 million book ideas. But after that, she got I can remember, very afraid. She hated staying there by herself. If I was at my dad's house for the weekend, in retrospect, I honestly think a lot of her drinking had to do with fear. Which we already know that addiction has a lot to do with fear, right? But I really think for her to be in that house and stay there at night, I think it helped her to be intoxicated, because I think she wasn't as scared. But a lot of weekends, on a Friday night, I would pack a bag and we would be at my aunt and uncle's house for the whole weekend. The whole weekend. I think Caroline, in junior high, she had the whole basement as her bedroom at some point. And so her bedroom, they turned into a guest room, and it had two queen beds, I think, in it, or two full beds in there. It was beautiful. I remember it had this Berber carpet, and then it had so my aunt, forever, she had this green shag carpet. I used to love it. Green shag, who, right? And it was Kelly green, and I just thought it was gorgeous. And but when I was in maybe, so if she was in junior high, let's say if she was in 7th grade, I would have been 4th or 5th. Yeah, 3rd or 4th maybe. I was younger. So then Caroline, when she started junior high, she moved into the basement. So we would go over there and we would stay. And but anyway, the bedroom. So my aunt, at some point, she redid the whole house. She knocked down a wall. She made a great room from the kitchen into the living room. They had a living room with a fireplace and stuff like that. And then she had like a fancier living room, but we sat in both. Like, you know, when you go to those houses, do you guys remember those houses when we were growing up? Like, this isn't so much of a thing today, but back when we were growing up, do you remember like your friends would have houses and they would have like the living room where like everybody sat and had like the comfortable couches, but then they had the living room like nobody ever went in? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like, it'd be like right when you walked into the left. I don't know why I think of it that way, but that's my friend's house had that. And it'd be like that living room that like nobody sat in. Like, everybody had that living room. Okay, my aunt and my mom, like, both had that living room, but we used it. Like, we always, like, our living room like that. Well, we had a living room, a library, and a porch. So we used all of them. But, like, our living room like that, like, my mom would sit in there on the couch and just read, like, all day long. That's where we put our Christmas tree and stuff. Like, we, like, used our whole house. And my aunt did, too. Like, so it's crazy to me when I look back on, I don't know. Do you guys remember that? I don't know why that cracks me up. Station wagons. Do you guys remember? I have not seen a station wagon, and I can't tell you how long. Station wagons have the door in the back that opened up, and you sit in the back, and you look out the back. Do you remember those? God, I'm dating myself. But yeah, so she redid the whole house, and then Caroline's bedroom, she painted, like, this pale peach, like, the walls were like this pale peach. It was beautiful. And then it had like the, what do you call it, the crown molding was white. And then she had these wonderful beds that were so comfortable that were like peach bedspreads, and then, or like duvet covers. And then she had this day bed that when Caroline was in there was like yellow, and she had it turned in, it was like this, like, material was like peach and like light blue. It was so pretty. And I remember that's where we would stay, and that was our bedroom for the weekend. And we would go over there like quite a bit, like probably, I don't know, you know, if I was with my mom every other weekend. Sometimes we went over there every other weekend, you know, like it was a lot. Like, I remember, yeah, I mean, I don't remember doing that, though, when I was in high school, because I think I wouldn't want to go over there, you know what I mean? So I don't remember my mom never went over there and stayed. She stayed at the house, because I'd be out with my friends. But I didn't really do stuff with my friends till, like, my junior or senior year in high school. Like, my freshman, 8th, 9th, and 10th grade, like, on weekends, because I really had no friends to do stuff with. I would always hang out with my mom, and we would rent movies, and, that's when we watched, like, that was probably the years that I watched the most of, like, the old movies. We would rent a lot of old movies. My mom and I played cards. We used to play cards all the time. We'd make a pot of coffee and sit at the kitchen table and play cards forever. The little TV. And I had this little TV, or she had this little TV, which I wish I would have kept, but I ended up throwing away, because it was like, I mean, you couldn't have cable or anything in it, but it was like this TV that was like this big. And it sat on the corner of our kitchen table. And when we were eating dinner, like, during the week, we would eat, and then, like, at 7 o'clock, Little House on the Prairie would come on Channel 4. So Channel 4 was, like, a local station. But it was, like, it wasn't, like, ABC, CBS, and NBC. It was, like, I think it was Bloomington. It was, like, local access station. But anyway, they had Little House on the Prairie. And so, like, we would have to, like, say our prayers. And my mom was like, did you hear my voice? I'm losing my voice. She was really big on us, like, me talking about, like, what I did for the day, and, like, what I learned and things like that. And then once that was all said and done, then we could turn on the TV and we could watch Little House on the Prairie while we ate. And I loved it. I think I've seen every episode of Little House on the Prairie that ever aired. The ending, though, I do not like, when they blew up the town. That made me really sad. So, yeah, but I loved that show. And growing up, we would watch on the weekends, we would watch Charlie's Angels, Love Boat, Fantasy Island. My mom would have a lot of friends that came and stayed with us, too, but that was always in the summer. Like, she would have a lot of college and high school friends come and stay, but that was always in the summer. And their kids would come, too, so that was always kind of fun. Like, Susie came in the summer, and she would stay and bring her daughters. Usually both, but at least her one daughter that's the same age as me. And we're 7 days apart. But anyway, she'd come for like 2 weeks in the summer, and she wouldn't stay with us the whole time, but she would stay with us the majority of the time. And she would, like, she'd go down to Bloomington and she'd stay, and Susie's from a small town in Indiana, so she would go up there and stay for like 2 or 3 nights with her high school friend, and we would go shopping, and we would go do stuff. It was fun. We always had a lot of fun, you know, in the summer when people would come and stay. It was hard. I always had this sadness, you know, about like when people would leave, or if it was just me and my mom or whatever, because like my mom would do her best to be happy, but she was very sad, you know, a lot, just like really sad. I paint this picture of this amazing woman that, you know, like I'm not somebody that like really loves that when, like, I hate to say this, but that when somebody passes away, we saint them. And what I mean by that is that, you know, when somebody passes away, we don't say like anything negative. We don't say like, you know, what they were really like or whatever, which I think in a real way is like doing an injustice to them, because I mean, not that we have to sit and say, oh, somebody was a bitch or something like that, but you know what I mean? Like, I think to some degree we're doing kind of like an injustice by like painting a picture of how they were. My mother was a very wise person. She really was, you know, and the thing is she just wasn't like that 24 hours a day. There was tons of fear there. I can remember one time being at like, so we lived in the woods, and I mean, I'm talking huge trees, you guys, in a creek, okay, like huge trees bigger than my house. And she would say, this one time I was at my friend's house and she called me, and she was like panicked, and she was like, so we had this like porch that went off the end of our house. It wasn't even like a porch, like screened in porch. It was like a room in the house, like the windows cranked out, and there was like 8 windows one way, 8 windows the other way, and 8 windows the other way. I think it's crazy now when I look back on that we used to sit out there and watch TV. Like, if you drive by, you can see it. Like, somebody could have literally been standing in the side of our side of our yard that went into the woods, because they would have been like, nobody could have seen them. And I don't know how I wasn't scared at times like that. They literally could have just been like looking right in at us. Because if you had the lights on, it just was like lit up, you know. They could have been looking right in at us. And my mother would sit out there, you know, and she would watch movies and stuff like that. Like, when I wasn't there, like, I don't know how, like, she did that and wasn't afraid. But anyway, so towards the back is where all the trees were. Well, the woods was probably, from that window, 50 feet, okay? So she calls me at my friend's house, and she's like, panicked. Oh my God, you have to come out, you have to come out, you have to come out. I'm like, what? She's like, there's a snake, there's a snake. I'm like, what do you mean there's a snake? She's like, there's a water moccasin. And I'm like, because we lived near a creek, so we would get water moccasins, you know? And she's like, there's a water moccasin, there's a water moccasin. I was like, where? And she's like, in the tree. And I'm like, oh my God. So I came home, and she shows it. She's standing in the room. She's pointing to it. It was a water moccasin. It was huge, and it's hanging from this tree, you know? I'm like, Mom, we're literally in the house. Like, she's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. She freaked about all that stuff. This guy was like, I was sitting on the front porch the other day, and he came up, and I felt so bad for him, but he was like this super good looking guy and totally built, you know, probably about 30. And he was like, you've probably seen our trees in the neighborhood, or our trucks in the neighborhood, and working on some of your neighbors. And I was like, yeah, well, first of all, they're not allowed in the neighborhood, okay, because like we have like strict rules about that kind of stuff. And the homeowners association hires people to do all this kind of stuff, right? But I'm not going to tell him that. Like, one of these older people can tell him. So anyway, but I don't know how they got in there to work on somebody's like house, but so he goes, yeah, and he's like real formal about it, like total salesman, which just is a big turn off to me anyway. I don't like being sold anything that I don't want. And he goes, you probably noticed our trucks in the neighborhood. I'm like literally sitting there like I'm watching one of my YouTube videos back, okay, because I'm trying to get ready to post it for my Peter Monn channel, and I'm just sitting there watching it. And he goes, yeah, you probably noticed our trucks in the neighborhood, and so we've been working with some of your neighbors. I go, and he goes, so what we do is, and he starts going this whole thing, and he gets about 3 or 4 minutes into it, and he pauses, and I go, hey, I really appreciate it. I go, but I'm kind of busy right now. And I said, and we're not interested. And he goes, really? you're not interested? And I go, no, we're really not interested, thank you. And it's about spraying for daddy long legs, okay, and ants. And I'm thinking to myself, if you grew up near a woods like I did, daddy long legs are gonna come around. And quite frankly, you want them there, okay, because they get rid of some of the other bugs. If you grow if you grow up around the woods, you know this stuff, okay? Like, mice aren't necessarily bad to have around the house sometimes, okay? And dogs aren't necessarily bad because they keep the mice and stuff like that away. So anyway, I mean, you just know this stuff, right? Like, there's gonna be bugs. My God, there was bugs everywhere when I was growing up as a kid. So he goes into this whole thing, right? This spiel, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like trying to be so nice. I'm like holding my phone like this in my hand, right? And he goes on, and I let him go on for like another 5 minutes, and I'm like, hey, I really appreciate it, like I said, but like, we're just really not interested. And he goes, you aren't? And I go, no. And he goes, but let me show you. He goes, see, you got this and you got that and you got these cobwebs here. He's like showing me something that's not even a cobweb on a bush, or like on our hostas. And I go, and I just kind of look at him for a second. I must have this look in my face. He goes, you don't look convinced. I go, listen. I go, I've been really nice. I go, I'm trying to be not rude. I said, but we are not interested. And I said, and you could stand here for an hour. And he goes, and I said, I'm like stumbling over my words. I go, you could stand here for an hour and give me this spiel. I said, and I'm not going to be interested. And he goes, really? And I go, really? And I go, and I'm kind of busy right now, and I'm trying to be really cool with you, dude. And he goes, what are you busy doing? Watching a YouTube video? I was like, are you kidding me? Like, seriously? I go, yeah, I'm watching a YouTube video right now. He goes, I like YouTube too. And I go, well, it's been real nice talking to you. I thought, are you kidding me? Like, come on now. I wasn't gonna even get into the fact that, like, I make YouTube videos. I'm a dude with a camera, because then he'd be like, oh, what's your channel? What's your channel about? What do you do? Oh, well, I got 5 channels. Well, what's your 5 channels about? I was like, oh my God, I'm not gonna buy your stuff. I don't want your spray for your daddy long legs. They don't hurt anything anyway. What's crazy is, like, we have the woods behind us, but not woods like I grew up in. I mean, like, I grew up in the woods, you know what I mean? But, like, the woods behind us, like, what's crazy is, like, we don't get bugs in our house. I mean, we get bugs that kind of, like, fly in, like those stink bugs. We get those inside the house sometimes like that, but, like, very rarely. And they tell you, do you know, oh my God, it's gonna stop again. Am I really that far? It's gonna stop again, hold on. You know, they tell you not to smush those stink bugs. Have you heard of that? I had never had those in my house until this house, and then, like, our neighbor said that they had them too. She said that they had them in her house too, so I don't know, maybe it's just that area or something. Do you guys know what I'm talking about, those stink bugs? They're, like, round, and they, like, you'll, like, walk by your curtains, and they're, like, on your curtain. I just pick them up and take them outside. Every once in a while we'll get, like, a bug. You know, like one of those bugs that has like 1,000,000 legs on it, like every once in a blue moon. Have you guys heard the theory that, like, in our lifetime we swallow so many bugs or so many spiders or something like that? Do you think that's true? I think that's kind of spooky strange. I wonder if I've ever swallowed a spider in my sleep. Oh, that's what the theory is that in our sleep we, like, swallow so many spiders. I need to trim my beard. I understand why people keep their beards really, really long, because it's like, to keep it up, it like takes literally, with my new razor that I bought, or my new trimmer, it takes me like 5 minutes to trim my beard. It takes like nothing at all. That new one that I bought is so nice, the one that I did the review about. Oh my God, it's fantastic. I literally just go, before I would go, I mean, like, it pulled because the blade was so bad. This one now, I just go. Do you like my little sound effects? But it's really nice. But I do understand why people, like, leave their beards longer, because you don't, like, have to do anything to it, you know? It just grows out long. But the thing is, mine grows out like this. And I don't really want that beard, so. How did I get talking about that guy with the bug spray stuff? Somebody said something in the comments about power washing our front. Okay, like, so they're supposed to do that. So that's why, like, they usually come in the middle of May sometimes, and they, like, power wash everybody's deck, and they power wash everybody's, like, front thing as well. I'm getting tired. I think I'm gonna go up here and turn around in a second. Like, I'm far out. I'm not too far out. I am hungry though. I'll be hungry for my first fueling tomorrow. I'm like running out of bars, you guys, because the bars are like my go-to because they're just so easy. Like in a week, well, I'm gonna have to start ordering I'm gonna have to order my next batch of food. I will say this diet isn't as hard as I thought it would be. I really kind of wish I would have done it a long time ago, honestly. Hopefully I can lose the weight that I want to lose by middle of the summer, you know. But if not, like, I'll lose it. I just want to lose it and be able to keep it off is what I want to do. I actually think I'm going to go and get gas. I really, this summer, I want to, like, sit down and just start watching Netflix series. Like, I just go. And, like, my early day to middle of my day is kind of consumed with just, like, business stuff. And then on top of that, like, errands and cleaning the house and stuff. And then I wait to do my videos till late, which is why they get up, like, 6 or 7. And then my other one's later. I really want to, like, start vlogging more throughout the day so that at night, like, I can sit and just watch Netflix series. Like, I miss doing that. Like, my husband does that so much. And he really has fun doing it. And there's so many, like, I was going through Netflix the other day and there's, like, so many series that I want to watch. Put in the comment section below if you've made it this far, like, what some of your favorite Netflix series are, because I really need some recommendations for some, like, good Netflix series. I want to catch up on Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I want to catch up on Riverdale because we used to watch that together and I still want to watch that with him. But I'm like a whole season behind that. I think I want to catch up on The Walking Dead, although I'm not sure. But then there's, like, Netflix original series that I want to watch too, like a lot of them. I'm thinking about watching A Handmaid's Tale too. Do you think it's too late in the game to start on Game of Thrones? Probably. Isn't it like 8 seasons in? Is this the last season? I think Alex told me it's the last season. I don't really get excited about starting a series when it's like the last season, you know? But everybody says Game of Thrones is, like, so good. I used to be such a TV freak, you guys. Like, honest to God, like, I watch so much TV. And, like, I don't watch any TV now. Like, I literally don't watch any TV. I watch RuPaul's Drag Race. I didn't even watch Project Runway, like, All Stars. Like, I had, like, 4 episodes I was behind on. And then Alex was watching. He was like, do you want to watch the finale? And I was like, yeah. So we started watching the finale together. And then I was really tired that night. And I said, I'm just going to go and lay down. And he goes, okay. And I was laying in bed and I was, like, kind of half asleep. And I heard who won. And I just was like, he was like, do you want to watch it? I said, you can just delete it. I don't care. It's like, I don't even, like, I don't know what's going on. I don't have that investment in, like, TV, and I miss it, because I really enjoy watching TV. I haven't even finished Grace and Frankie, and I started that, like, 2 months ago. So I need to get going with some of these shows that I love. I don't know what's happened. When, like, Orange is the New Black and Wentworth came out, I just powerhoused through them, because I love those shows so much. But I don't really have any shows like that right now. So... Well, listen, I'm going to pull in this gas station up here and get some gas and then head on home. So I'm going to get off here. I hope you guys are having an amazing Friday and a fantastic beginning to your weekend, unless you have other plans. Don't forget, in case nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Make sure to look in the mirror and tell yourself that. Seriously, look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that. Pass it on, tell somebody else. Love each other. Be kind, be caring, be compassionate. It does make a difference. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Love ya.